because they all absolutely suck. Welcome back, guys. To Fog Wrestling. Jake Paul has not defeated anybody. Anthony Joshua has defeated Jake Paul, but for me, this may as well be a defeat for Anthony Joshua. This may as well be an L. Hell, at this point, he may as well just went to a draw, an 8-round draw, split decision draw. Hell, I'd argue if Jake Paul actually knocked Joshua out at this point, it wouldn't be that more embarrassing, to be fair. But whether it's Jake Paul versus Joshua or whether it's Monday Night Raw, if something's on Netflix, it tends to be fucking shite. Look at Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. I mean, these aren't big fights, although I do believe, there was one good fight on Netflix. I think the Canelo versus Crawford, I believe that was on Netflix. But either way, this fight was an absolute joke. Joshua wins in round 6 after like a 4th knockdown. But in reality, he should be beating someone like Jake Paul in round 1. This fight should be going 30 seconds. And
America, an experiment that has endured for nearly 250 years. And in that time, we spread across a continent. We grew to be the world's wealthiest and most powerful nation. We became synonymous with freedom and opportunity. So, what's the secret? How did 13 colonies sandwiched between the eastern seaboard and an untamed wilderness grow into a global superpower? Actually, there's a pretty good case that...
And, I mean, the fact that Jake Paul was won by knockout and the fact that you did see him have a lot of success in round 5 and round 6, that kind of tells me that he was intending to win. This is not like Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, where nothing happened in any of the rounds and they kind of just seen it out and got over the line, or in Mayweather versus Logan Paul fights where you could kind of just tell that nobody was really interested in knocking the other person out. With the effort that Joshua was putting into this kind of tells me that he actually did win by knockout. He said before the fight if he didn't win by knockout in the first round, he said if Jake Paul got past the first round, he would consider that a loss. Well, guess what? He made it to fucking round 6, so there's your L times 6, buddy.
Yeah, and is that not going to get brought up in the post-match interviews? Like, if Jake Paul says, well, he said if he didn't knock me out in round 1, he'd lose, so that makes me the winner. Joshua and Eddie Hearn would be left on double one.
Jake Paul lasted longer against Joshua than Joshua did against Daniel Dubois.
Well, that's mad. But what I will say, I think boxing's fucking dead, man. I see these matches, right? They're the only thing that I have got interest in, and millions of them. These fantasy matches, and we're not even talking like, oh, what if Muhammad Ali took on Usyk? That can't happen. Matches. But these crossovers, even though Jake Paul, Logan Paul, other people, 58-year-old Tyson, it's all that's left. I feel like boxing as a sport is fucking dead. You look at all the other decades in the history, it's like the guys that carried it on their back. Alexander Usyk is a boring bastard. All the other guys are done.
I like Usyk, but...
No, you can like him, but let's face facts. He's not on a level of charisma of anyone else. Is he one of the best boxers of all time? Yes, but you need a bit more. You need something else. And
who's got charisma? Are we really supposed to... Do you think Joshua's got more charisma than Usyk? No, for me,
I think Joshua has played part. You think it like the 90s?
No, Fury has undoubtedly got charisma.
Stop interrupting each other.
Yeah, but he's done. But is Joshua more entertaining than Usyk? No, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't really do many interviews in English, and his English isn't great. But I mean, I would much rather listen to an Usyk press conference or an Usyk interview than a Joshua interview.
Maybe it's a change. I agree. I think Usyk's better than Joshua.
See when Joshua comes out though, see when Deontay Wilder comes out, as overrated as he fucking was. See when he came out and talked about I want a body in my record. He made you feel like he believed that, and that's truly what he wanted. See when he says, "Oh, you're going to get hit with the hammer for Alabama, and you're not going to see the end of round 1." You felt like Wilder. You felt like Wilder meant that. Wilder believed that, and he thought it was actually going to happen. See whenever Joshua talks as if, "Oh no, this fight's real. I want to hurt you." It feels very forced, in my opinion. It feels put on.
Eddie Hearn's told him.
Joshua's a good fighter, but every time he tries to get a bit of needle in there or tries to act tough, and he just falls flat for me.
I look at other previous eras of boxing. Right? I'm not the biggest boxing fan, but you look at like the Muhammad Ali's, the the Mike Tysons, the Evander Holyfields, the Lennox Lewises, the Klitschkos. I just don't think this stuff would fucking fly in those eras, but I feel like now
Probably not.
boxing lacks like a true fucking draw. The stuff's I mean, you could argue it's the internet age and those guys fought when it wasn't really a thing, but I think it also, you look at the quality, who's left to take on Usyk, it feels like he's battered everybody. He has battered everybody.
He's beat Joshua twice, beat Fury twice, beat Dubois twice, and that's considered the top three of the top guys in the division.
And that's just me mentioning heavyweights. Look at the other divisions. Where's the Floyd Money Mayweathers?
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao's done.
Like Crawford's a great fighter.
UFC's the same thing, right?
Terence Crawford's a great fighter, but is he entertaining? He was the B-side to Canelo, and he beat Canelo pretty easily. But Canelo was the guy that was selling, that event. It was Canelo. Everyone in the crowd basically wanted Canelo to win. Canelo was the A side. Doesn't necessarily mean Canelo's the A fighter. It just means Crawford's not entertaining. You can even make comparisons to wrestling. You know what I mean? You can say what you want, and there's just no stars in wrestling anymore, and there's no fucking stars in boxing. You still got good boxers, and you probably still do have some decent wrestlers or whatever, but they fucking care.
Thank you for
Superstars are
5
gone.
cards.
Anyway, Jake Paul should have been gone in round 1. He wasn't. Made it to round 6. I thought Jake Paul actually won round 1 and 4, and then by 5 his legs were just gone. I think Jake Paul the reason I think he won round 4 is I think he just went for it a bit because he probably felt that he was done, and that if he didn't do something then it was not going to happen. And respect, because the guy could have ran around the ring, and you know what, for parts he did. Let's not pretend that he stood there and fought for the 6 rounds, but what do you expect him to do? Look at the size difference. He's not even a fucking real fighter, really. I mean, Josh has been fighting forever. Jake Paul took this up initially as a hobby.
He's a cruiserweight.
Do you even want? I mean, should Jake Paul be expected to get in there and slug and throw punches and act like Rocky Balboa?
That's where we're at, though. I just feel like the internet sensation Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua is better for the casual viewer than anything Alexander Usyk does.
Well, I mean, I'd rather watch Usyk.
No, but yes, is Usyk going to give you a better fight? But
it's not always been the case. So could you not argue like back in the maybe people would have in the 80s, maybe people would have rather watched. Trying to think. It doesn't matter, but see, instead of your Lennox Lewises and your Holyfields and your Tysons, do you think people maybe would not have rather seen celebrities in the ring back then?
Well, maybe they would have, right? But we didn't get it.
No,
Because I feel like at the time they were better. The first fight that put this in motion was Mayweather McGregor. I feel that's like 7-8 years ago, and ever since that, it's just been. It continues to happen.
I'm just saying, I think even when boxing was at its best, I think if you put 2 big celebrities in the ring, that would probably create more mainstream attention.
But back then, the sport had integrity. You say what you want. Is this entertaining? I guess.
Yeah, but see if you stuck, Michael Jackson in the ring against fucking Madonna, I reckon that would probably draw more eyes than Muhammad Ali would.
No,
You've got to keep in mind, see when it's boxers, see when it's just a boxing fight with people that aren't celebrities or people that aren't huge social media stars. The only people really watching these fights are boxers. But when you've got people that have that mainstream draw and that crossover draw, then you're going to be getting casual fans or people that maybe even never watched a fight. You will get people that have never watched a fight, but they'll be like, oh, what? Jake Paul, I used to watch his YouTube fight. I'm going to watch him fight. It's the same way.
He was on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, so I mean,
to wrap it up, I think boxing
Never
is in a pretty shite place alongside most other sports. Like UFC, they just don't really have anybody. I mean, I think boxing's in a better state than UFC, but again, I like the references to Hogan, the song, the attire. I like the references to Ric Flair. I thought Mauro Ronaldo did a good job, but
that was one of WWE's big failures, letting him go. He should have been the guy to replace JR, and I get it. Cole was in that spot, but he should have been the guy to replace Cole then.
no, absolutely. Mauro Ronaldo, he's got it. I mean, he said this is uglier than a bowling shoe. That's just something that JR or someone of that caliber could have said.
Mamma mia! Anyway, I thought Jake Paul, despite the loss, I thought
That's
he
fine.
came out looking better.
I'll bounce
No,
you.
I would totally agree with that. I think Jake Paul did come out looking better. If Joshua says, if I don't knock him out in round one and I've lost, then I don't see how he could look better. The only way he could have looked better by winning is if he... I don't know. For me, Joshua... It's almost... See, apart from his bank balance, it's almost a fight Joshua can't win it. If he knocks him out in 3 seconds, everyone's like, well, so what? We fought that. If he goes 5 rounds like he did, or was it 6? I don't even care. 6. Then he's a joke. If he goes 8, he's a joke. Only Jake Paul could win for this.
Yeah.
Jake Paul can always say, I went 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua and won a few.
No, true. But anyway, guys, that's it.
I don't know, but another thing, talking about integrity. All these boxers, former old boxers, and UFC guys going in between sport, they're ruining their fucking records.
Yeah.
They are. No, it's bogging. Like, I know Mayweather took Logan Paul and he won, but it's like you've got Mike Tyson. You know, Iron Mike Tyson's got a fucking defeat to Jake Paul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anthony Joshua's got knockouts against greats, and then Jake Paul's there. It's a fuck up.
Yeah. Mayweather, I know he went the distance with a lot of people, but he went the distance with a lot of great fighters. It's not quite the same as going the distance with... there's few people that can go across sports, you know. Look at Brock Lesnar, but he's like a true once in a fucking millennium talent who he did football, he did wrestling, he did UFC. Hell, if he wanted to do fucking boxing, he probably could have tried it in some capacity. Not everyone can do it, but I feel like now this is once you've started this, it's always going to continue. Well, anyone can do it, but can you do it successfully? That's the big point. Not many people do actually. I don't think anyone really does. Fair play to Jake Paul. I think he's actually done pretty decent in boxing.
Dark Dragons.
For me, that is way more impressive him making it to round 6, despite how poor Joshua looked, than it is Joshua winning. So yeah, that is it, guys. There you go, Jake Paul, Joshua. That is what it is.
Yes, another shite show on Netflix.